Hello and welcome to another episode of the Construction Corner Podcast. I'm Dillon. I'm your host, joined by my blue collar badass, Matt. How's it going, man?
Things are good, Dylan. Weather's warm and construction's booming. It's been a hot minute since you and I sat down, across the mics to do this together. So I'm good to be back.
Likewise, man. I've been traveling and seeing tower cranes all over the place. Was in San Francisco and I was on the 21st floor of the hotel I was staying at, and I wasn't even eye level with the tower crane for the boom. Like,
I saw the picture you posted, man. That's pretty wild.
yeah.
I was talking with somebody recently. We were down in Detroit for a baseball game or something, and they've got some cranes up down there. And I'm not afraid of heights. I never have been. I used to build houses, right? I can walk on roofs that are 30, 40 feet up with no issue, but I can't even fathom climbing up into one of those cranes. I can't even imagine doing it for the first time,
Yeah, I mean, you think about like how tall that has to be. Because this was still in like a fairly open site. Like they had maybe a couple floors done, but still like a pretty open site for where the crane was sitting versus like the ones that are on top of like mostly completed buildings, um, uh, just figure, let's just say it's 25 floors at, you know, 10 feet minimum, floor, probably more like 14.
Probably, yeah.
You're looking
350, 375.
just like stupid high, of like, and there's nothing between outside of the cage that you're crawling up in, there's nothing between you and like the outside world.
Yeah. And then you're up there for your 8 hours, 9 hour shift, whatever it is. Like, I don't know. I don't think I could do it, but it's cool. You got to applaud those men and women that do it.
Oh yeah. Like, and then and they've become again like significantly more advanced in recent years, but think of like where they had to do all the balance and load calcs like on the fly basically to figure out where to put weights for whatever they're lifting.
Oh yeah. I mean, if you think about it, even on a rudimentary level, the physics involved in what those things are doing, it's mind-boggling. You can't get off kilter on a load that you're lifting 300 some feet up into the air, right? There's obvious disastrous implications there. So it's pretty significant.
Yeah, and a pinpoint beam basically, or pinpoint structured point.
Yeah. Yeah, let alone the fact that the operator can't see what he's doing. Most of the time they're basing it on radio communication with somebody on the ground or somebody at each different level of the building.
Yeah, it's still good to see, like, even in San Francisco, as much of a shithole as that place is turned into, like, I've never really historically liked it, but the city was never like dirty. You go back 5 years, 10 years, especially, like it was nice. But it's good to see like that type of construction, still being put up, that type of investment still being done. I mean, because that building with that type of tower crane and we were like right downtown, so we were probably like 4 blocks from like Salesforce Tower. It's probably a $300+ million build.
For sure.
I truly don't know how big that's going to be, but any skyscraper, it's going to be, let's just say, 9 figures worth of construction to put it up.
Do you know what it's going to be or who's building it?
Swinnerton's building it. At least that's whose name was on the tower crane. And then I don't know. I didn't look up what it's going to be yet. We were in like a hotel area and district, so could be anything.
Yeah. So without getting too far down the political rabbit hole, is San Fran really as big of a literal shithole as the rest of the country makes it out to be? I've never personally been there ever, but you hear the stories.
So it's, yeah, I mean, like homeless people are a problem, you know, a lot of mental illness. We went to like some of the parks in the like downtown area that historically, like I remember going there for so in 2019 we went there for or that area for the Harry Potter play, like the Broadway show, because it came to San Francisco, which was actually like really cool. And it was like a full like it was a long ass deal. Like it's like a 6 hour thing or something. Like it was
Holy
super
crap.
long. Like it was a full like, you know, they had intermission. You went and like did some shit, like ate dinner kind of thing. Like it was a full like thing.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
yeah, it was. I mean, it was pretty cool actually to like go and see it, and because I've never done Broadway in like New York or anything. So to go and like see some of these, like they're just incredibly long. Um, but one of the parks like down there, and again this was around Christmas time, was, you know, very well like lit, had a bunch of like Christmas decorations. They did everything, like was in like it was cool like to go see, and you didn't
Sure.
feel like, you know, and this is like kind of an uppity place, like the Apple store is right across the like square from this park. Like a lot of very high end like fashion stuff is there, you know, Tiffany is there, like so it's it's not cheap uh real estate or place to be. And it was, again, even in 2019, like great, it was Christmas, so it was cold, but like it was a like you didn't see like any really problems. And I remember being in the city like uh that same time frame, 1920, like walking around, and you didn't see like there was some, you know, homelessness and people that like had mental problems where they're just like yelling at nobody. But now going around, like it was much worse. And then you had like people that cleaning off the sidewalks of like all the shit or whatever in the mornings. And granted, some areas are worse than others. Like the financial district is clean. Like I think they probably pay to kick everybody out and move them to other places.
Right.
Uh, it's just how it works. So like, because when we walked around like the financial area, like I walked around like where the stock exchange was, or just happened to like be in that area or whatever, and there was no problems. But you go, you know, 3 blocks the other way to where nobody's paying to like move people. It was much worse.
Hmm.
So um, I've always just never liked going into the city. Like there's always it's a weird vibe going into San Francisco. The rest of the Bay Area though, like super nice. Like I went to Vallejo to see some clients, and like Vallejo's on the top side of the bay. So you've got like the Bay Bridge, and San Francisco's on the peninsula, right? So you have, and then you have the Golden Gate Bridge that goes north, and the Bay Bridge goes over to Oakland. But Vallejo sits like on the north side, and you could take a ferry. It's the San Francisco ferry from Vallejo, which is an old army base. And I was talking to the guy there, and apparently they had, or his CEO had worked there during the war. And one of the bombs that landed in Hiroshima was actually like assembled there in Vallejo.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
for like history, like it was all these old army barracks and stuff because it's an island. But then the ferry like goes across, and that place was like beautiful, like had a cool vibe to it. Like the energy was just very, very different. So like other parts of the bay like are fine. Like I go to Oakland, which Oakland has a like historically bad like context just because of gangs and everything else.
Easy to.
From Yeah, from like 30 years ago. Like Oakland was a place like you just didn't go. Um, Now like it's fine. Like there's so much money that has been like put into there, you know, with people traveling to the Bay and San Francisco or whatever, that I've never had any problems like in Oakland. And you just, the energy level is very different there. And same with like San Jose and like other places around the Bay. Like you go down to Palo Alto with Stanford, like very, very different like energy level versus, you know, San Francisco proper.
Gotcha. Well, I'm not looking to go there anytime soon. So,
Yeah, I mean, it's a also for you, it's a very different type of construction
oh, for sure. For sure.
than Michigan.
Yeah. Yeah. We were just up in Traverse City for I don't know, a week or so ago now, but just such a cool vibe up there, you know, to see that area, and that's booming. I mean, there's construction all over right now, and obviously very different than, big city construction, but, we had the boys with us and, taking them out to there's some breweries and like pizza shacks that it's just a cool kind of youthful, fun, friendly vibe. And my kids numerous times just kept saying that, everybody's so nice up here. Everybody, like, people are talkative, they're smiling. So it's just that's our cup of tea. That's where I'll go hang out. You can keep San Fran.
Yeah, we'll spend a lot of time up in Traverse. Like Lauren's grandparents live over in Empire, like right down the road from Sleeping Bear Dunes. So we spend
Nice.
a decent amount of time up in that neck of the woods.
My eldest son convinced me to climb the Sleeping Bear this time, and we did it, man. And holy crap. It's interesting. If you've never been there, first of all, it's absolutely gorgeous, but climbing on dunes, like, it's nuts. We looked up the stats and the physics on it. For every 12 inches you step up, you compact the sand down 8.5 inches. So for every step you take, you're getting like basically less than a third of the production out of your effort. And people don't realize that. And like, it's a 3-mile hike from where we park to get to Lake Michigan. And you're up and down, and you get to the end of this thing and you're, I don't know, 200 feet above the lake. And it's straight down. And I'm like, all right, forget it, guys. That ain't happening. The 3 boys went all the way down, jumped in the lake, came all the way back up that thing. Carrie and I sat on the top and just kind of laughed at them, but it's definitely a cool area if you've never been there.
Yeah, and that's all around like Lake Michigan. I remember doing some of that in like the UP. Like I've seen some guys do exactly that, like climb down, 200-300 feet to the lake and then come back up, and it's just like I went down like 100 feet, and that was a lot of work.
Yeah, it's brutal. Your legs are on fire. It was windy as shit up there too, so you can't really see anything. You're getting pelted with sand if you look the wrong way. But it's all good. So what are we talking about today, man?
Today, I wanted to really just cruise the news a little bit and pick up some kind of top of mind topics that are really kind of eating some of the firms these days.